Yo, Mana Squad, if you like any of the cards you see in today's video, make sure to hit up the affiliate link down below to TCG Player. You can help look up some of your local game stores in the process and help show the channel some love. And you know you got to look good while you play in order to play good. So make sure you hit up our link to Into the AM as well. We have the discount code down in the description below. Look, you got to listen to Kenneth the Heathen. He always says something about dripping in space and screaming. We don't know what it means, but do what the man says. And last but not least, hit up Heavy Play. Heavy Play is going to have some of the nicest playmats and deck boxes out there. Their magnet system between their deck box and dice trays and playmat is amazing, especially if you're playing at like bars, restaurants, stuff like that. You got to get up and move. There is no better way to keep all your stuff together, and you can show the channel some love in the process. Stay petty. Yo, welcome back to One More Mana. My name is Derik, and today we're getting into the top 5 most bro-worthy cards from Duskmourn. Y'all have seen, I think we've done more videos so far with another one still yet to release for Duskmourn than we've done for like every other set combined this year. Been feeling the vibes, been feeling the new cards, and obviously with spooky stuff. We're getting close to spooky season. The spookiness is here, and I can't stop talking about it. And I'm sure at time of release, you all need some nice break from ban list talk, so you get to sit here and listen to me yell about all the beautiful things happening in Duskmourn and my limited understanding of the story. All right, let's get into this top 5 list. If you aren't familiar with the most bro-worthy things in a set, it's things that make me feel some type of way. It's cards that make me feel emotion and fired up, happy, sadness, everything on the spectrum. It could be anything that I'm feeling, but I'll tell you, for Duskmourn, I am ready to get to ranting. Now at number 5, the number 5 most bro-worthy card in Duskmourn, we're going to talk about Arabella, Abandoned Doll. Arabella is a red and a white for a 1/3 toy. Like, I think very obviously supposed to be Annabelle, which, quick side rant, I really love. So obviously we get like Universes Beyond references with cards, like very direct. There's a Chucky secret lair. There's all types of like very direct references for stuff. I really love some of, not overdone, but in certain sets, I love when they do kind of the more subtle references to things where it's very clearly, we know what it's supposed to be. The OG Meat Hook Massacre, Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibes. Like, we know what they're going for, and it's cool to see how it's adapted to be in universe for Magic. So obviously Arabella is supposed to be Annabelle. As one of probably the only people that absolutely loves all of the Conjuring movies, have seen as every Conjuring, The Nun. I know La Llorona is not officially in it, or might be. Either way, I saw that too. You got all the Annabelle movies, that whole universe. I've seen all the movies multiple times. I kind of just do random watch throughs back to back to back. I don't have the best taste in any sort of media, but I love those movies to death. So as a super fan of said Conjuring universe, oh, they just barely missed the mark on this. I love that a card exists. Look, I love Annabelle. I love that we get the Annabelle card, but the effect is when it attacks, it deals X damage to each opponent. You gain X life, where X is the number of creatures you control with 2 power or less. That's not Annabelle, bruh. If they would have done some sort of like summons a demon, like the Ram demon from the Annabelle movies, as everyone knows, is one of like the cool characters. It's kind of like spooky. There was a dude in a jumpsuit running on a ceiling at one point that was kind of low budget looking, but I loved the campiness of it. Whatever it is, I would have loved some man in a jumpsuit random demon to be summoned from this. Maybe you sacrifice it, create the demon, whatever it could have been. Slight missed opportunity. I love that it exists, and that there's this weird kind of acknowledgement to the Conjuring universe within Magic. That's great. Love that. But it didn't summon the weird little ram demon man, and that is just a slight, bruh, you were so close to making my Conjuring dreams come true. Now at number 4 most bro-worthy card in this set. This is more of a, not so much about the card, but about a moment of self-reflection for me that I might be a bit of a hypocrite, and it's a hypocritical bruh, and it is for Head Shredder. I've talked about this card in previous videos and probably in future videos as well. Head Shredder is 2 green and a green for a 5/5 vehicle. The most important thing is whenever you mill one or more land cards, you just put them onto the battlefield tapped. Now, the reason I'm saying bruh for this is because my first thought on this is like, oh, I could put this in Sidisi. I can do so many crazy things with it. I'm so excited to play this card. And then as I started brewing with it, I realized just as excited as I am to play it, I'm gonna be salty as balls when other people play this against me, because I'm like, oh, they're gonna have so many lands, and I gotta remove it on site. And it's like that back and forth of, hey, little hedge dude, like, you're my friend, I want you in my decks, but I'm also gonna murder you immediately when another person plays you. And that is like an internal bruh for me of like, am I the monster? And typically the answer is yes, but it's still a moment of self-reflection. And for that, Head Shredder, you made me think more than I wanted to. And to that I say, bruh. Now at number three most bruh worthy thing in this set. This one makes me so happy. This is one of the most, like, typically I always like to think like lower expectations, you'll never be disappointed. I had high expectations and somehow it was just knocked out of the park. And it is for the Meat Hook Massacre Part 2. The whole thing with Meat Hook Massacre Part 2 is you had to do the whole horror movie thing. You have to have it to where it's okay. It's gonna be way more expensive, way less effective, but still kind of good. Like, that's the whole thing you need from a horror movie sequel. And Meat Hook Massacre nailed it. It is 4 black pips, 2x, for the same enchantment deal that you have going on. When it enters, each player sacrifices X creatures. Whenever a creature you control dies, you can pay 3 life and then return it with a finality counter. And whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, they may pay 3 life. If they don't, return that card under your control with a finality counter on it. The thing I love about this is it just nailed every part of it. It's literally twice the cost, which is just so on point. It's one of the reasons, another aside, the 21-22 Jump Street movies I think are the best, like, in my mind, movies that nailed the, like, making fun of a sequel being twice as expensive and not quite as good. On a side note, this slam poetry rant in 22 Jump Street, I can recite word for word, and I won't because I feel like there's some sort of demonetization in for quoting a movie too directly, whatever it is. I'm very afraid of slam poetry. It kind of like makes me feel sick. I can't really explain it. It's almost like, and I also have this, but when people like chew and you get like nauseous from listening to people chew and you get irrationally mad, that's how I feel about slam poetry. It gets me irrationally angry and I get like a bubbling in my stomach and it's just a whole mess. So what I do if someone's reciting poetry, I have to repeat the slam poetry verse from 22 Jump Street to remain calm and keep a level head. Information nobody wanted, but that's sequel. Meat Hook Massacre 2, bringing it back. Everything's a circle. Bam, Meat Hook Massacre 2. It just nailed it perfectly. Twice as expensive. Definitely not as good, but like still awesome. And they couldn't have done a better job. So bruh, whoever worked on this card, whatever team worked on this card, y'all deserve a raise and some sort of celebration because I had high expectations and it was just nailed completely. At number 2, the number 2 most bro-worthy thing in this set, it is the Mind Skinner. I'm just gonna the Mind Skinner. It's blue for a 10/1, can't be blocked, and whenever a source you control will deal damage to an opponent, prevent that damage, and each opponent mills that many cards. This isn't a bruh and like, oh no, don't play it against me, yeah, it's powerful, or it's not even a bruh and like I've been waiting for this. The card's cool, really cool art, unique effect. Anytime 10/1's printed, I think that's exciting. But the reason, a 3 mana 10/1 at that, the reason I'm doing this, bruh, is bruh. Everybody look at me. I've gone on this rant. I'm going to do it again. Bruh, mill is not that bad. You being milled is objectively better than you not being milled. Unless someone just like combo mills you to death. I can't remember the last time I've seen someone non-combo mill and actually take players out. It just doesn't happen. There's so many reshuffle effects. There's so many ways to get around it. And it takes so long. You're trying to, it's almost like killing with Infect in a way where you're operating on a different axis. No matter how successful you are at milling, no one else is trying to help you do it. They're all trying to deal damage. So you're doing it on your own. You almost never get there. But if you are being milled, it is objectively better than not being milled. You get more information. If you only see in a game of Commander, let's say you see the top 30 cards of your deck, you aren't going to see the bottom 70 no matter what. So the fact that you mill 20 of those and then all of a sudden you see the next, it's supposed to be random. It doesn't matter what chunk of cards you see, it's random. The difference with being milled is you now have access to all of this knowledge. You know what cards you're not going to draw. You know what cards you might draw. It helps you so much, especially if you're playing a deck, you know if there's certain synergies you need, combos you need, having cards in your yard already, not to mention they're easier to reanimate. It's way easier to get access to cards in your yard than it is to cards in your library. For a million reasons, I don't understand. I love Mesmeric Orb. It's a card I just love to play in certain decks, especially shout out. So I have so many mill decks. Sidisi, great in there, but specifically shout out to Cedrus because it does work in there. Either way, it doesn't matter. It's helping you. I am your friend. We have synergies. I am helping you win the game. And bruh, just stop hating the mill players. They're trying to let everybody have fun and have extra knowledge. It's really just there to help you. I promise there's no ulterior motive. Now at number 1, the number 1 most bro-worthy thing in this set, and this is the happiest bruh I think I've had in a video in a long time. Yo, bro, whoever all y'all artists is that worked in this set, and I'm gonna put some of the cards on screen. Y'all killed it. the vibes, and I'm not super into Magic story. I read some of it. I keep up on some of the lore, but for me, the vibes of a set really is about the art. When we went back to Innistrad, or if I go back to OG Innistrad, if I see some of the Phyrexian stuff, the art sells it. I don't care how good the story is or this or that. If the art gives a vibe of a set, that's what really makes me feel lost in it. That's what makes me feel like this is what I want. And some of the spookiness in this set, and some of these cards are going to be up on the screen as I'm talking about them, but one is like Boiler Bilge's Ripper. It's a wonderful name, by the way. That is just, look at that art. That could be on like a horror movie poster. It could be it is just beautiful, and it's none of the creepiness. And that's what I appreciate with so much of the art in this set. Yeah, there's kind of the corny vibe with like, woo, teenagers running through Ghostbusters, bam bam, like yeah, not my thing, but I think it's cool. Like, people enjoy that, but they didn't hold back when they really wanted to get spooky with it. And some of the, like, that is just, the Boiler Bilge's Ripper is just a beautiful piece of art. I mean, this next one, I'm going to put this in a deck just because I have to now. Vile Mutilator is one of the coolest depictions of a demon I have ever seen. I just talked about this would be like a beefed up version of whatever I could have dreamed the Annabelle demon to look like. It's perfect. Like, it gives the most ominous and terrifying of vibes, even within a Magic set that does have more of like a friendly vibe with some of the characters and the way things are depicted. This is just a straight up messed up looking card, and it is just so beautiful. Just another one, and I'm just gonna rant it, but this is just, yeah, bro, the bro is art ranting, so yeah, too much of it. Razorkin Needlehead. Such like Insidious vibes, like the dude from Insidious that kind of looks like Darth Maul with the with the little needle. That's this dude. Just honestly, this dude looks a little more scary because Darth Maul dude kind of look goofy if you look at him up close. This dude is tiptoeing through the whatever fields and messing people up. It just looks terrifying. Like, it's legit nightmare fuel, and I love it. Even some of the rooms, the doll maker shop and porcelain gallery. I remember I went to Horror Nights in Orlando a while back, and they had like a porcelain doll house. And honestly, this looks more messed up than even the Horror Nights house did. Like, and they had a giant human-sized baby, or adult human-sized baby in there, which is like the scariest thing possible. This is still giving me those vibes. And the last one I'm going to shout out, because I could just do this forever, the Unsettling Twins, just the spooky little children with the demonic shape in the background. Like, this, some of this art has really only matched for me with some of the OG Innistrad stuff. And I remember when we went back to Innistrad, there was still a lot of cool art, but it didn't quite live up to OG Innistrad for me. And honestly, Duskmourn, with some of these specific art pieces, and like I said, I could do a whole 2 hours. I just picked some of my favorites. It's perfect. So, bruh, artists, yeah, maybe I'll put them in the description specifically for these pieces. Y'all killed it. Y'all deserve a raise, a hug, and maybe some therapy, because there's some messed up stuff going on in these. Whatever combination y'all need, just thank you for making this set really everything I wanted it to be. That is going to do it for this week's video. I really hope y'all enjoyed it. Let me know what y'all think of Duskmourn, because like, I've heard some kind of mixed reviews of some people really loving it, kind of being in between. And I've said Ken and I have been very kind of positive about it, but it landed for me. There's not a ton of specific cards that I'm like, oh, I need to buy this, but the vibes of it. This is a set. Brothers War was the same way for me. I keep going back to Brothers War at this point, years later, to buy cards because of art, to try to build cards, commanders I forgot about, because I loved that, like, that vibe of that set so much. I keep going back. Duskmourn has the feeling of a set that 2 years from now I'm gonna be like, you know what, I just want to look through a Duskmourn card gallery, find a card that looks cool, and build around it. And that's like that's the best thing ever for a set. So bruh, they killed it. I really love this set. Let me know what you know in the comments below. Is it just me because I'm obsessed with horror, or is this set hitting for anybody else? Let me know. Tons of exciting stuff to come, but until then, stay petty.